The Owls ventured into Death Valley and tried to grab the Tigers by the tail, but in the end, the Clemson mascot was doing too many push-ups, one for each of the Clemson points in a 48-14 victory. Welcome to Inside the Owls Burrow alongside the Hagerty family head football coach Tom Herman. I'm Frank Fort. Coach, you go into a place like Clemson, which of course they won national championships not that long ago. And it's one thing if you're out athleted, but I think you were kind of disappointed, if I'm right, about the mistakes, the turnovers, the penalties, which, you know, kind of put you really behind the eight ball in the first quarter.
Yeah, and maybe that was a poor spot to really give a synopsis, being fresh off a loss. I don't handle losses real well, and I don't think many coaches do. So I don't want to ever overshadow, and I made a point in the team meeting Sunday to make sure that, you know, we've got guys that you can see incremental growth. We've got guys that have made tons of strides. So we're still kind of mixing and matching, you know, the guys that when they're in there are trustworthy and accountable. But yeah, you're going to deal with being out-athleted at times. You can handle some of those plays that they make and chalk it up to that guy's a really good player. But we are growing. I was just frustrated because maybe I expected too much. And maybe I expected too much growth too soon. I was frustrated because I thought I saw a lot of what I saw against Ohio, and in retrospect, there was probably a lot more improvement than I had given it credit for Saturday night immediately after the game.
Well, unfortunately, Larry McCammon wasn't able to play with an ankle injury, and then during the game, Casey Thompson goes down. It didn't look good at the time, and I guess the news is not very good.
No, not good. Torn ACL, non-contact, although there was a penalty flag for roughing the passer. It happened in his drop. He just planted his foot awkwardly, I guess, in the turf there, and it wobbled on him, and hence I think the pass kind of came out as a duck because he was throwing it on a freshly torn ACL, and he's got a medial meniscus tear as well. So he'll get surgery, you know, as soon as possible. And we talked about the throw that he missed LaJonte on early in the game, and he was lamenting on how if we had hit that, you know, momentum maybe had been a little bit different and so on. But we both got excited. He said, "Coach, that is the farthest I've thrown a football since last October or something like that." And I was just like, for him to even be in that position with the shoulder injury that he had and to be able to overcome all of that, to be there, it was really cool. And so for this to happen to him, we hate it, it sucks, we're thinking about him, but he'll be back throwing the football before any of us, you know, can say boo. I can guarantee that.
Coach Herman's interview brought to you each and every week by Phil Smith Automotive, driving the Owls to victory together in style. Well, LaJonte Wester, his second straight 12-catch game, now the all-time record holder in catches with 174 here at Florida Atlantic. But I think the thing that impressed me most was how hard he was still playing in the fourth quarter.
He's got two speeds, off and full, and then that is it. There's no in between, and I love him for it. And LaJonte is an interesting personality off the field, but you put him in the weight room, you put him on the field, you put him anywhere around our team and in a competitive environment, whoa. I mean, this guy, I mean, he's a dog. And when we have one of those, historically, we've been pretty good at, you know, we had Devin Duvernay in 2019 lead the country in catches and catches on third down. It gets harder as the year goes because you see some coverages where you're just like, what the heck is that? Like, I've never seen that. And they're like, well, it's because number one's on the field, you know. And so he's a heck of a player, and the way that he played even in the fourth quarter is that's him. That's him all the time.
Speaking of quarterback injuries, Michael Johnson Jr. had a ton of injuries the past couple of years. To get him his first action, for him to score a touchdown, I think we all had to feel pretty good for him, given really, what he's been through.
Really, really cool. And, you know, Mike's role may be expanded now because of, you know, Casey going down and, you know, the fragility of you know, that room every time somebody goes down, the next guy up is keeping him healthy is that much more critical. And so, I think Mike has shown everybody what we've seen, which is, he's a heck of a player, a heck of an athlete. He's still working to get all of the throwing mechanics down, routinely from coming off that shoulder surgery. But it was really cool to see him out there.
A lot of firsts for Owl players in this uniform. Devin Price scored his first touchdown, caught his first passes. Wyatt Sullivan, 4 catches as a tight end. Kevon Walker had a 20-yard run, seeing his first action. And you asked your coaches to evaluate that second half really hard to see who's, regardless of time and score, who's playing up to the standard.
That's when you find out people's true colors. You're playing one because that's you. You don't get another last name. And the video is there until the world blows up. Listen to the names of what you just said and who it happened against. Devin Price, Wyatt Sullivan, Keon Walker. I mean, we're talking about that was against Clemson in front of 90,000 people or however many that stadium holds. So we're still growing as a team, and we've got a lot of fresh faces that are trying to find their way.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that because, your defense didn't tap out. They stop a 4th and 1 inside the 4 in the second half. And so I guess the message is let's get incrementally better, whatever size those increments come in from week to week.
We are very, very battle tested at this point. We're banged up. We were talking earlier off camera about how the training camp was great to us in terms of injuries, and now all of a sudden guys are dropping like flies in games. Our team has the concept that these first 4 weeks, plus a bye week, it couldn't have been scheduled better. This is kind of development. This is preseason, if you will. And then we start conference play after the bye week, and that's when we need to be hitting the ground running. Do we think we can and will beat Illinois? Absolutely we do. But we also know that as long as we continue to grow on the trajectory that we're on, we're going to be in really good shape when those conference games come around.
3:30 Eastern Time in Champaign, Illinois against the Illini. They're 1-2. They lost to Penn State 30-13 last week. I think it's been 2019 since we talked about a defensive lineman and a preview of a game, and that was Chase Young, but Jerzon Johnny Newton, number 4 for Illinois, is a All-American.
You're going to see, our fans are going to see, Illinois lines up in pretty much one front the entire game. They're going to cover your center up, and they're going to put 2 guys on the inside eye of the tackles and with 2 outside linebackers. And what that does is that eliminates double teams because there's nobody in a gap that 2 adjacent offensive linemen can double team to. And so, they do a really good job schematically of getting Newton singled up. And so we know we were going to have our hands full.
Time now for Tom Herman's Pop Culture Pop Quiz, brought to you by FAU MBA in Sport Management, ranked number 11 globally. I will give you, it's movies, we'll give you 25 seconds, and you can mull it over for 5 seconds, as many Al Pacino movies as you can name.
Okay, you tell me when.
Ready and go.
Scent of a Woman, Devil's Advocate, Heat. We've got Scarface, obviously. We've got Al Pacino. Why is this harder than it should be? Al Pacino. Why am I? Genres.
Time.
Man, I failed that one. Holy smokes. Tell me, just embarrass.
The obvious one, Godfather.
Oh my gosh.
All right. You got other things on your mind.
It's embarrassing.
Coach.
All right. Thanks, man.
To Illinois. Talk to you next
Appreciate
week. Coming up, go between the lines with defensive end Marlon Bradley, mic'd up.
Point, down. Right, set!
That's straight ahead on Inside the Owls Burrow. Inside the Owls Burrow is presented by Baptist Health Orthopedic Care, the official sports medicine provider of Florida Atlantic Athletics. By Cedar Foods, Cedars Know Better Hummus. By FAU MBA in Sport Management, helping the sports and entertainment executives of tomorrow. By Phil Smith Acura, driving the Owls to victory together in style. By Sage Dental, official dental provider of FAU Athletics. Book at mysagedental.com. And by Shiner Law Group, the injury lawyers that get you more because you deserve more.
Here we have a play we call Edelman, where famously made popular by Julian Edelman, a former college quarterback. We hand the ball to Javion Posey, who sells a sweep. We get out in front, sell the sweep. Obviously didn't do a great job blocking for him. Great courage under pressure here by Javion. And then as you see Devin Price really kind of selling a lazy stalk block, lazy, lazy, lazy. And then the corner triggers, and now I'm gone. And Javion throws a heck of a throw right over the outside shoulder for a touchdown, Owls.
Thanks, Coach. Time now for content you can only get right here on Inside the Owls Burrow as we go on the practice field with defensive end Marlon Bradley, Wired for Sound. Wired for Sound is brought to you by Go Solar Power. Lowest payment, best equipment, #1 solar installer.
Tempo today, situation today. We getting busy. We getting busy today. They don't watch it unless you don't make them plays.
Yes, I am. I heard you was. You feel me? Right now. You feel me? I 9-5 on the mic, but we still gotta do our job at the end of the day, though.
Gotta hit him there. Gotta hit him.
Flip. Anybody get me? No? Okay.
Yeah. Escape pace.
You should be on, what's it called? Punt return.
Speed river. Ready. Point. Down. Right, set.
Good little tempo day. It's time to go.
Set, hit. Good. I want box of hands. I want them in tight. Let's go, Marlo. Let's go. Gator roll this ball running away from me. Set, go. Ball running away from me. There you go. Nice route. Hold on to the bag. Right there, Marino. Yeah.
Yes, right.
Oh, yeah.
Keep it. Get down. When I'm gassed like this, you can tell it's gonna be a day.
Get your water, get ready, come back.
Damn. Watch out. He might pull. Let's go, defense! Yeah!
We're gonna get better every day.
And hold it down.
Uh-huh.
All right, then. But like a good little punch. And then, yeah, don't be in here. Like, just have it out in this, because then you won't touch it. That's what I did yesterday. Head first, and that's why Malk had my back pass so easily. You just experienced, mic'd up, I-95 Marlon Bradley, signing out. Peace.
Coming up, get to know linebacker Morven Joseph in this week's edition of Pads Off. That's next on Inside the Owls Burrow. Pads Off is brought to you by Sage Dental, official dental provider of FAU Athletics. Book at mysagedental.com. Welcome back to Inside the Owls Burrow. In this week's edition of Pads Off, we feature linebacker from Lakeland, Florida, Morven Joseph, aka Mojo. Now, did you have a favorite NFL team or player either growing up or even now?
Yeah, the Dolphins.
Were you really? Even though you were more toward Tampa?
I like the Dolphins. I don't know why.
Yeah. And a player did you look up to?
I looked up to Von Miller. Yes, sir.
Great pass rusher.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get into our Pads Off questions. What celebrity would you want to be your best friend?
Ooh, okay, I would say Von Miller.
How about somebody outside of football?
Oh, outside of football, I would probably say NBA Youngboy.
If the space program was looking for volunteers to explore an alien planet, would you sign up?
Yeah, I would. 'Cause I want to see like what's really outside, everything, you know. So that would be my chance to actually do that.
What is your dream car, and be specific?
My dream car is a Corvette. I just want a Corvette. At first it was like a Lamborghini, but the more I see Corvette, the more I just start liking them more.
Any particular color?
Black. Yeah, all black.
If you could have dinner with one person either living or deceased, who would you want?
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates?
Bill Gates. Cause I just learn what he know. Cheat code.
Speaking of Bill Gates, say you're independently wealthy and you don't have to work. What are you going to do with all your free time?
Give back to the youth, you know, just go do camps, watch a lot of football, go to a lot of games, travel.
You're leading right into the next question. If time travel was a thing,
Yes, sir.
would you want to go back and meet your ancestors or go forward in time and meet your descendants?
I'll go forward. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
See what your kids look like.
Yep.
Now, in the mornings, do you wake up right away when the alarm goes off, or do you hit the snooze button?
Sure do, cause hey, I'll be having panic attack. I'll be scared to go back to sleep or hit snooze and miss a lift or miss a run. So I just get right back up.
What talent do you wish you had?
Read people's mind. You know, yeah.
What am I thinking right now?
Oh, okay.
What is your current cell phone wallpaper?
Actually, I got Mike Tyson on my wallpaper right now. It say, Mike Tyson once say, if you train your mind to be stronger than your feelings, you will never lose yourself.
What chore in your home when you were a kid that your folks made you do that you hated to do?
You know what? I would say cutting the grass, but the older I get, the more I just use it for my advantage. So I use it for my advantage to get better, you know? Like, I see it like a workout. At first, I ain't like doing it, but the more I just do it, I'm like, okay, I could get better. It could be a workout, you know?
In the linebacker room, who's the most serious guy and who's the funniest guy?
I would say Jabari Hill. Yeah, Jabari pretty serious sometimes, but he got his time. You know, he opened up sometime. And the most funniest one, I would say Jared. He's pretty funny. He always playing around and stuff. So yeah, he's a pretty cool vibe, dude.
Mojo, thanks for taking the pads off and visiting with us.
Yes, sir. It was great talking to you, Frank.
Coming up next, a visit with running backs coach Chris Perkins as he returns to Florida Atlantic in 2023. That's next on Inside the Owls Burrow. Inside the Owls Burrow is brought to you by Adidas, by Baptist Health, official sports medicine provider of Florida Atlantic Athletics, by Cedars, No Better Hummus, by FAU MBA in Sport Management, helping the sports and entertainment executives of tomorrow. Visit fau.edu/MBA Sport. By Phil Smith Kia. By Sage Dental, the official dental provider of FAU Athletics. Book at mysagedental.com. And by Shiner Law Group, injury lawyers that get you more because you deserve more. Welcome back to Inside the Owls Burrow. I'm Frank Fort. FAU running backs coach Chris Perkins is no stranger to South Florida. He coached high school football for many years in Miami-Dade County, and now in 2023 is back at Florida Atlantic as an assistant for the second time. This assistant coach profile is brought to you by Shiner Law Group, the injury lawyers that get you more because you deserve more.
I want to sit right here on it, right? Then how I want to strike. Strike on the ride. So I'm already, I want to strike on the ride.
Chris, you played your college ball at Tennessee State. What was your goal after graduation? Was it to stay in football, or were there alternate plans for a career?
Oh yeah, my plan was always to stay in football. Either as a player, as a coach, I always had that passion to be around, being around the game of football. Once my career was over with, I was like, okay, well, let me take some of the information that I received and give back to the younger generation and the younger guys. So, football has always been in the plans for me.
You came here as a player development person. Then from 2019 through 21, you were the running backs coach. And that was your first assistant coach job at the Division I level. What did you learn from those years?
What I learned, man, is just actually how the Division I program works for its organization, for its the work that has to be put into the day-to-day work to be put in. Here at FAU, when we first came in, we, like I said, we had a bunch of guys, kids, that actually bought into the system what Coach Kiffin was doing. I see a lot right now, what we're doing right now with Coach Herman is it give you that same atmosphere, give you that same feeling, be able to work with the kids and keep this train moving.
So when the head coaching change happened, how quickly did you jump on the phone and try and get in touch with Coach Herman, or did he call you?
what actually happened, Drew Merriger that coached here, he's tight end coach at Oregon. We coached together in 2020. And he called and he had worked for Coach Herman. And I think he said something to Coach Herman. Then Coach Warner, that was already here, and you know, they won national championships together at Ohio State. He kind of, you know, hit me up and said, hey, are you willing to come back? And I was like, yeah, but you know what I mean? But, you know, but I hadn't known Coach Herman at the time. He said, well, look, if you want to do it, you know, we can try to make this happen. And, you know, fortunately, things worked out, and I'm back, ready to go.
That's your home turf.
Yeah, it's home. Oh, yeah, it's my home turf. Yeah, I'm home. You know, I feel at home. This is home.
Running backs are by nature somewhat selfish. They all want the ball. How do you convince them to do all the little things that the position demands?
Well, first of all of them have ambitions to go to the National Football League, right? And there's three things that you have to have. I think three things that you have to have. You're always an extension, number one, to the offensive line, right? So either in protection, you have to, you know, be able to protect. In the passing game, you got to be able to go out and run a route, and of course, run the football. Well, if you look at the NFL now, if you can't do all three, not one of three, not two of three, you can't do all three, you don't even get that look. So my whole focus is to tell them to be a complete back. You're talking about running the football, that's cool. If you're not willing to protect, it's gonna be tough to play.
That's our show for this week. I'm Frank Fort. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week on Inside the Owls Burrow. This has been a presentation of Playfly.